How did one career move turn into me getting served papers in my office lobby with everyone watching? Why did my husband stay calm for weeks, then hit me with a legal result that started that same day? My name is Berenice Latham, but everyone at work called me Bree because it sounded easy and bright. I worked as a marketing coordinator at a software company. It was not a big job, but I told myself it was the start of something. I liked the idea that people could see me and think I mattered. That week, I wanted one thing. I wanted a promotion track. I wanted a new title, a better desk, and the kind of respect that makes people stop talking over you. I told myself I was doing it for my family. I said it was for our future. I said it was for my daughter, Maisie. But deep inside, I wanted it for me. The morning of my review, I dressed like the job was already mine. I chose a blazer that looked sharp. I put on shoes that clicked when I walked. I practiced my calm face in the bathroom mirror. I did not practice gratitude. I practiced control. Ethan made coffee in the kitchen. He asked if I wanted toast. I said I did not have time. Maisie came in with her hair messy and her socks half on. She asked if I could do her braid. I said Daddy could do it today because Mommy had a big day. Ethan did her braid without complaint. He was always good at that kind of quiet help, and I used it like it was owed. On the drive, Ethan asked what time I would be home. I said I did not know because reviews could run long. He asked if I was nervous. I said I was ready. He said he was proud of me. I nodded, but I felt annoyed. Pride was cheap. I wanted results. At the office, the open space smelled like printer ink and warm computers. People moved fast with coffee cups and half smiles. My friend Trina sat near the admin area. She looked up and asked how I felt. I said I felt confident. She said reviews could be strange. I told her I knew how to handle people. She looked like she wanted to say more, but she stopped. My boss, Damon Pierce, led sales. He was not my direct manager, but he had influence. He liked to walk through the office like he owned the air. He always noticed who laughed at his jokes and who did not. That morning, he passed my desk and asked if I was ready for my big moment. I said I was more than ready. He smiled in a way that felt like a test. In the conference room, my actual manager talked about my performance. He said my work was solid. He said I was reliable. I hated that word. Reliable sounded like a lamp that never breaks. I wanted words like essential, standout, leader. I kept my smile and asked what growth looked like. He said I should keep doing what I was doing, and maybe next cycle we could talk about a new title. He said it in a kind voice, like he was giving me good news. I walked out with my cheeks tight. I sat at my desk and stared at my screen, but I did not see the emails. I saw my life staying the same, month after month. I saw my friends posting their wins online. I saw my mother telling people her daughter was moving up. I imagined her face if I had to admit I was still stuck. At lunch, I went to the break area where Damon was eating with two managers. I made sure they saw me. I made sure I looked calm, not desperate. Damon asked how the review went. I said it went well, but I expected more. One of the managers laughed and said I was ambitious. I said I had goals and I liked to meet them. Damon asked if I wanted to talk later. I said yes. He said we could do a quick check-in after hours just to align. I understood what that meant. It meant he could help me, but it would come with a price. I felt the little thrill in my stomach, and I pretended it was just confidence. I told myself Ethan did not understand this world. Ethan worked for the city. His job was steady and slow. He believed in rules and process. He believed things worked out if you waited and did good work. My world did not reward waiting. My world rewarded being noticed. After work, I stayed late on purpose. I sent a few emails, so my last active time looked impressive. I walked by Damon's office when I knew he would still be there. He waved me in like it was casual. He asked what I wanted. I said I wanted a clear path forward. He said paths existed for people who showed loyalty. He said leaders needed people they could trust. I nodded like I was learning something wise, but I knew he was putting a hook in the water. He asked if I could join a small celebration later in the week, after the company event planning meeting. I said I could. He said it would be good for my visibility. He said people needed to see I was a team player. I left his office feeling charged, like I had found a shortcut. On the train home, I looked at my phone and scrolled social media. I imagined the post I would make when I got promoted. I imagined Ethan's face when I told him. I imagined him saying he was proud, and I imagined me acting like it was normal. In my mind, I always deserved more than what I had. At home, the kitchen was loud with Maisie talking and Ethan washing dishes. Ethan asked how it went. I said it was fine, and I did not want to talk about it. He asked if something was wrong. I said he was making it heavy, and I wanted peace. That was my trick. If he asked honest questions, I called it pressure. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. Later, I went to the bedroom and changed. Ethan came in with his phone in his hand. He looked at the screen, then turned it away. I asked what he was doing. He said he was checking his calendar. I asked why he looked tense. He said he had a reminder for something personal. I told him he was being secretive. He said it was just a meeting he needed to schedule. I watched him, and I felt a strange irritation. I did not like when Ethan had his own plans. I liked when he stayed in my orbit, ready to support me. I told myself I carried the family's energy. I told myself he depended on me. When he held that phone like it mattered, it felt like he had a life I could not control. That night, after Maisie fell asleep, Ethan asked if I would be late this week. I said maybe because work was busy. He asked if Damon was involved in my visibility plans. I said Damon was just a leader, and Ethan was being insecure. He said he was not trying to fight. I said he always tried to make my wins sound dirty. Ethan went quiet. He did not argue. He looked at me like he was trying to understand who I was. I looked back like I was being judged unfairly. In my head, I made a clean story. I was a good wife. I was a good mother. I was just finally taking what I deserved. When Ethan turned off the light, I stayed awake with my phone glowing. A new message preview popped up from Damon about the after-hours celebration. I felt my heart lift. I told myself this was the real start. I told myself Ethan would thank me later. I told myself I was in control. The company event was on Thursday night. They called it a team celebration, but everyone knew it was a show. People wanted to be seen with leaders. People wanted photos with the right faces. I told myself I was not like them. I told myself I was doing it for work. That lie felt clean on my tongue. I left home early. Ethan asked if I needed a ride. I said no because I wanted to arrive alone. Maisie asked if I would read her a story later. I said yes, but I did not mean it the way she meant it. Ethan asked what time I would be back. I said I could not promise anything because it was a work event. He asked if I could text if I was late. I said I would, like that was a gift. At the venue, the lights were low and warm. The music was loud enough to hide small mistakes. My coworkers stood in groups with drinks and smiles that looked practiced. Trina found me near the entrance and asked if I felt okay. I said I felt great, and she should stop worrying. She said Damon was watching the room. I said that was the point. Damon arrived with 2 managers behind him. He wore a dark suit like he was the host. He looked at me for half a second longer than he needed. He came over and asked if I was ready to have fun. I said I was ready to show I belonged. He laughed and said I had the right attitude. All night, he pulled attention in small ways. He introduced people like he was handing out permission. He put his hand on my shoulder once, quick and light, and asked if I had met the new director. I said no. He guided me over. I told myself this was mentorship. I told myself physical closeness meant trust. Alyssa was not there because she did not work with me, but she texted me anyway. She asked how I looked and told me to make them regret not promoting me already. I sent a selfie with the room lights behind me. She replied with fire emojis and said I should secure the bag. I liked that she spoke like life was a game. It made me feel smart, not reckless. Later, Damon told me to follow him to a side area near the staff hallway. He said he had something fun planned for the inner circle. I asked who else was coming. He said a few people might drop in, but it was mostly for him and me. My stomach jumped. I knew what it was. I knew it was not normal work. I should say I stopped. I should say I told him no. But I did not. I told myself it was only a private dance. I told myself it was not real cheating because it was just movement and just a moment. I told myself I was not giving my heart. I told myself my husband got the best parts of me at home. That last one was not even true, but I said it anyway inside my head. In the side area, Damon put on a song from his phone. He asked if I trusted him. I said I trusted him to help my career. He said I needed to relax and show I could be bold. He said bold people got rewarded. I nodded like he was teaching me something important. I moved for him the way he wanted. I kept it teasing, not explicit. I kept it short, but it still felt like a line crossing. I could feel my face hot. I could hear my own laugh, too loud. Damon watched like it was his right. He clapped once at the end and said, I was a team player. I hated that I liked the praise. When I walked back into the main room, I fixed my hair and checked my makeup in my phone camera. I told myself I looked powerful. I told myself no one would know. But the world is full of eyes, and people love secrets more than they love rules. I saw one coworker, a guy from sales, holding his phone up like he was filming the dance floor. I did not think he filmed me. I told myself he did not. I told myself I was safe because I was careful. That was another lie. After the event, some of us went to a rooftop bar nearby. The city air was cold, and the view made people feel important. Damon stood close to me at the railing. He asked if I enjoyed the night. I said it was good for visibility. He asked if I wanted that promotion badly. I said I wanted what I earned. He said I should keep showing loyalty and he would make sure I got noticed. Trina stayed near the group but not too close. She asked if I was okay. I said I was fine and she should stop acting like my mother. She looked hurt and said she was just worried about how things look. I said looks were the only thing that mattered in business. I said respect follows results, and I had results. I believed myself when I said it. Near midnight, Ethan texted and asked if I was on my way home. I waited a while before answering because I wanted to show I was busy. I replied that the team went out after, and I could not leave yet. He asked if I was safe. I said yes and told him not to be dramatic. He wrote back that he was not trying to fight and he just wanted to know. I did not reply to that. When I got home, the house was dark except the kitchen light. Ethan sat at the table with a mug. He asked if I had fun. I said it was boring and mostly networking. He asked why my voice sounded strange. I said I was tired. He asked if I had been drinking. I said a little, like everyone does at work events. He stood up and said he would sleep because he had work early. He asked if I could keep my voice down because Maisie was asleep. I said he was acting like my father. He did not answer. He walked down the hallway and I heard a soft click, like a drawer being locked. In the bathroom, I scrubbed my face too hard. I stared at my own eyes in the mirror. I did not look guilty. I looked excited. That scared me for half a second, and then I pushed it away. I told myself Ethan pushed me into needing attention because he was too calm and too plain. I told myself I had to do this because life does not wait. The next morning, my phone buzzed before my alarm. A coworker group chat had new messages. Someone wrote that last night was wild. Someone sent a short video. I opened it and my stomach dropped. The clip was not clear, but it was enough. It showed me near that side area. It showed Damon close. It showed my body moving in a way that did not look like normal work. It was only a few seconds, but seconds can ruin you. I typed fast and asked who recorded it. I added laughing emojis like it was funny. I wrote that people should stop being weird. I tried to act above it. Inside, I felt cold. At breakfast, Ethan poured cereal for Maisie. He asked why my hands were shaking. I said I had too much coffee. He asked if anything happened at the event. I said no, and I smiled too wide. He watched me like he did not believe me, but he did not argue. When I left for work, I smelled something in the hall near our small office room. It was like warm toner. I looked at the printer and saw a blank page sticking out, half printed, like someone stopped it midway. Ethan was in the kitchen washing his mug, calm and quiet. He asked if I wanted a ride again. I said no. He said okay, and he did not try to kiss me goodbye. I told myself he was punishing me. I told myself he was being childish. But as I walked to my car, I realized he was not chasing me at all. He was letting me go, like he had started to practice something new. I went to the gym the next day like nothing happened. I told myself I was not the kind of woman who hid at home. I told myself strong women did not panic. I wore a matching set, and I made sure my hair looked effortless, even though it took effort. The gym lobby smelled like rubber mats and lemon cleaner. People checked in, scanned cards, and stared at themselves in the mirror walls. I liked that place because it was simple. Lift, sweat, leave. No deep questions, no history. Alyssa met me near the front desk. She looked me up and down and said I looked expensive. I said I was working on myself. She asked if I got any boss points last night. I said Damon noticed me, and that was what mattered. She laughed and said, Ethan should be happy I had ambition. I nodded like I agreed, because I wanted to agree. She asked if Ethan acted weird when I got home. I said he was moody and sensitive. I said he always tried to make my success feel like a threat. I said he asked too many questions. Alyssa rolled her eyes and said men do that when they feel small. I liked hearing that. It turned my problem into a story where I was the hero. While we stretched, I opened my phone and checked the group chat again. The video was still there with more reactions. Some people wrote laughing messages like it was harmless. Some people wrote warning messages like it was a mistake. I did not reply. I took a screenshot for myself. Then I deleted my screenshot so my phone would not show it in recent. I told myself that was smart, not guilty. I posted a gym mirror photo instead. I wrote a caption about focus and growth. I tagged Alyssa. I knew people at work would see it. I wanted them to think I was confident. I wanted them to forget the clip. I wanted to control the room without being in the room. After the gym, Alyssa insisted on brunch. We went to a cafe with big windows and small tables. The menu was full of healthy words. The place was full of women talking about men. That felt normal to me, like a safe language. Alyssa asked if I planned to tell Ethan anything. I said there was nothing to tell. I said it was work culture, and people were being dramatic. She asked if Ethan could use the video against me. I said Ethan would never do that because he was too soft. I said he did not have the spine for conflict. I heard myself, and I did not stop. Kylie called while I was waiting for my food. I stepped outside to answer because I did not want Alyssa to hear the tone. Kylie asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. She asked what was going on at my job because she heard something from a friend who knew someone. I said people were gossiping, and Ethan was feeding it because he liked being the victim. Kylie said I should delete the online posts and stop making it public. I said she was taking his side because she always judged me. Kylie said she was thinking about Maisie, and she asked if I understood how fast kids absorb tension. I said she was being dramatic, and I ended the call. When I went back inside, Alyssa asked what happened. I said my sister was jealous and moral. Alyssa laughed and said, moral people are always the loudest when it is not their life. I smiled and told myself I was surrounded by support, not enablers. On Monday, I went into the office early. I wanted to see who would look at me differently. I wanted to find the weak links. In the open plan space, I could feel eyes on me like small pins. I smiled first, so no one could say I looked ashamed. I greeted people like I had nothing to hide. Trina came to my desk with her coffee and a careful face. She asked if I was okay. I said I was great. She said the video made people talk. I said people talk when they are bored and broke. Trina said HR might not like the optics. I said HR did not run the company. Results did. She looked down at her cup, like she wished she never asked. Damon walked by an hour later. He did not speak to me in front of others. He only sent a message that said we should talk later. I stared at that message for a long time. I told myself it meant he was protecting me. I told myself he was smart. I did not allow myself to think he was protecting himself. At lunch, I checked my social media again. My caption had many likes. My mother had commented that I was glowing. I replied with a heart. I told myself the public version of me was winning. I did not see how thin that win was. That evening, Ethan picked Maisie up from school because I said I was staying late. I was not even staying late for work. I was staying late to avoid the house. The house had questions. The office had noise. When I got home, Ethan was in the kitchen. Maisie was colouring at the table. Ethan asked how my day was. I said it was fine. He asked if anyone mentioned the party. I said no, and I added that he should stop obsessing. He said he was not obsessing, and he asked why my story kept changing. I said it did not change. He just heard it wrong. That was my favourite move. If I confused him, I could call him confused. He did not raise his voice. He asked if I could sit for a minute and talk like adults. I said he was trying to trap me. He said he was trying to understand. I said there was nothing to understand, and he was making things bigger than they were. Maisie looked up from her colouring and asked why we sounded sharp. Ethan told her everything was okay, and he asked her to finish her picture. I said she was fine, and kids should learn real life is not always sweet. Ethan looked at me like I kicked something fragile, but he said nothing. Later, I walked past the small office room and saw Ethan's laptop open. The screen showed a spreadsheet with rows and dates. There was no title at the top, just numbers and notes. I saw words like pickup, groceries, and utilities. I saw my name once next to a time. I paused, and my heart started tapping fast. Ethan came up behind me and asked what I needed. I said I was looking for the charger. He said the charger was in the drawer. He closed the laptop with one smooth motion, like he had practiced. I asked why he had a spreadsheet. He said he was organizing life. I laughed and said he was acting like a single dad already. He did not react. He walked to the fridge and put his mug in the sink. A soft beep came from his phone, like a recording app stopping. I told myself I imagined it. I told myself he would never record me because he was not that type. Still, my throat felt tight. When I went upstairs, I checked his phone charger side of the bed and saw his phone face down. I saw a contact name saved as an emoji on the lock screen for a second, then it went dark. I told myself it was work. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself paranoid wives get left, and I was not going to be that wife. But in the quiet, I could not ignore one thing. Ethan was not chasing me. He was not begging me to explain. He was not fighting for my attention. And somehow, that calm scared me more than anger. The Sunday dinner was at a family restaurant with long tables and loud plates. My mother liked that place because the staff knew her name. She liked attention the way some people like dessert. I brought Ethan and Maisie because it looked right. I told myself a normal family shows up together, even if the inside is messy. In the car, Ethan asked if I really wanted to go. I said yes, because family mattered, and he always tried to avoid my side. He said he was not avoiding them, and he just wanted peace. I said peace was not the same as silence. He did not answer after that. He kept both hands on the wheel, like he was holding himself steady. Maisie sat in the back with a small toy. She asked if Grandma would have fries. I said Grandma always had fries because Grandma liked fun. Ethan told Maisie he might order her fruit too. I said he always tried to ruin treats. Ethan did not argue. He only looked forward, calm in a way that made my skin feel hot. At the restaurant, my mother hugged me like a performance. She asked how work was going. I said it was exciting and I was being noticed. She smiled wide and said she knew I would rise. Ethan's parents were already there. Dana sat straight with her hands folded. Mark nodded at Ethan like he was checking on him without saying it. We sat down, and the table filled with menus, drinks, and little opinions. My sister Kylie arrived late from her shift. She kissed Maisie's head and asked if everything was okay at home. I said everything was fine and people just like drama. Kylie looked at Ethan, and Ethan nodded once. He did not add anything. My mother started talking about my job again. She told everyone I worked harder than most people. She said a woman needs to fight for respect. I agreed and said respect follows results. I said some men get uncomfortable when women succeed. I looked at Ethan when I said it, like I was teaching him a lesson. Ethan asked if we could not make it a gender war at dinner. I said he was proving my point. My mother laughed and said he was sensitive. I said he was always sensitive lately, and it was exhausting. Dana asked how Maisie liked school. Ethan answered quietly and said Maisie loved her teacher. Maisie smiled and started talking about a drawing she made. I watched Ethan smile at her, and it bothered me. He looked like the safe parent. I wanted to be the safe parent, but I also wanted to win. When the food came, my mother asked Ethan if he was still supporting my career. Ethan said he supported me, and he also needed honesty. I heard that word and felt my pride kick. I asked him what he meant by honesty. He said he meant the stories should match. I said he was trying to shame me in front of everyone. Kylie told me to lower my voice. I told her she did not live my life. My mother said Kylie should stay out of it. Mark looked at Ethan and asked if he wanted to take a walk outside for a minute. Ethan said no, and he said he was fine. I leaned forward and told the table that Ethan had been cold and weird for weeks. I said he acted like a victim. I said he wanted me to live smaller so he could feel bigger. I watched faces shift. My mother nodded like she was watching a movie she liked. Kylie frowned like she wanted to disappear. Dana's lips pressed into a thin line. Ethan asked if I could stop making it public. I said he made it public by acting dramatic. He said he had not posted anything, and he had not told anyone. I said silence can be a weapon too, and I was tired of being punished. My mother asked what exactly Ethan thought I did wrong. Ethan looked at the table, then at Maisie, then back at me. He said he did not want to discuss adult issues in front of a child. I said he was using Maisie as a shield because he had no argument. Dana finally spoke and said, "Children hear more than we think." I said Maisie was fine, and kids are not made of glass. Maisie asked why Daddy looked sad. Ethan told her he was not sad, and he was just tired. I told Maisie Daddy got sad when Mommy worked late, like he was a baby. Ethan did not correct me. He only took a slow breath and asked Maisie if she wanted to go wash her hands with him. She nodded and went with him. While they were gone, my mother told me I was too good for a man who acted like that. She said I should not shrink myself. Kylie told my mother to stop, and she said my mother was feeding the fire. My mother said she was defending her daughter. I felt strong for a moment, like I had an army. When Ethan came back, his face was controlled. Mark asked if Ethan was okay. Ethan said he was okay, and he wanted to finish dinner. Dana watched me like she was filing my words away in her head. I hated that look. It felt like she was building a story where I was the bad one. After dinner, Ethan paid without asking me. I told him he did that to control me. He said he did it because he had the card in his hand. We walked out, and my mother said we should all take a photo. I stood close to Ethan and smiled like we were fine. Ethan did not smile with his eyes. On the drive home, Ethan asked if I felt proud of how I spoke. I said I felt proud that I did not let him paint me as the villain. He said he had not painted anything, and he was only asking for truth. I said truth is complicated, and he wanted simple answers, because he was simple. Ethan went quiet again. The next day we went to the supermarket because the fridge was empty. The store was bright and cold. Maisie sat in the cart and hummed. Ethan pushed the cart and checked a small list on his phone. I reached for extra snacks, and he said we should stick to the list. I said he was being cheap. He said he was being careful. At checkout, Ethan used a different card than usual. I noticed because I watched him now. The cashier asked if we wanted cash back. Ethan said no. His phone lit up with a bank alert for half a second before he put it away. I pretended I did not see it, but my stomach tightened. In the parking lot, I asked why he used that card. He said he was organizing bills. I told him that sounded like he was planning to leave. He said he was planning to be responsible. I said he was trying to scare me. He asked if I wanted to talk like adults. I said he only said that when he wanted control. When we got home, I saw 2 mugs on the counter, spaced apart like strangers. I saw the guest bed looked slightly disturbed, like someone had rested there and left in a hurry. Ethan carried groceries to the kitchen and did not touch my arm the way he used to. That night, as I walked past the small office room, I saw a neat stack of folders on a shelf. One was labeled Bank in careful handwriting. I stared at it for a second. Ethan came from the hallway and asked if I needed something. I said no, I was just looking for tape. He said the tape was in the kitchen drawer. I went upstairs and told myself he was doing all of this to punish me. I told myself he wanted to look noble so everyone would pick him. I told myself I still had control because I could still explain it my way. But later, when Ethan's phone rang with a missed call showing no caller ID, he did not answer. He only looked at the screen, set it down, and kept folding Maisie's clothes like nothing could shake him. I woke up on Tuesday with my chest tight, like I had swallowed a stone in my sleep. I told myself it was stress from work. I told myself it was normal. I did not tell myself it was guilt, because that word felt like losing. Ethan was already up. I heard him in the kitchen moving plates with slow care. I walked in and saw him packing Maisie's lunch. He asked if I wanted coffee. I said yes, but I did not thank him. Maisie came in and asked if we could do family night soon. I said we would, when work calmed down. Ethan looked at me and asked if work ever calmed down. I said he was being sarcastic. He said he was just asking. I checked my phone and saw a message from Damon. He said we needed to talk today. He said there was noise and he needed me to be smart. He added a line about loyalty again, like it was a simple rule. My stomach flipped. I typed that I understood. I added a smile emoji to soften it, like I could make consequences cute. On the drive, Ethan asked if I slept okay. I said I slept fine. He asked if I wanted to talk about the dinner fight. I said there was no fight, just him making things uncomfortable. He asked if I noticed Maisie watching. I said kids forget fast. He said kids remember patterns. I told him he sounded like a counselor. He said he was a father. At work, the open plan office felt colder than usual. People smiled, but their eyes did quick math. I sat down and opened my email like I was calm. I told myself I was above gossip. I told myself everyone would move on to a new story soon. Trina came by with a folder and asked if I was okay. I said I was great and she should stop hovering. She said HR had asked general questions about the party. I said HR asks questions about everything, and I said it would be fine because I did nothing wrong. Trina said nothing wrong can still look wrong. I told her looks are political, and I knew how to manage politics. At noon, Damon told me to meet him in a small meeting room on the far side of the office. He asked if I understood what kind of trouble this could cause. I said I understood it could hurt my career, and I said I did not want that. He asked if I told anyone at home. I said my husband was paranoid, but I did not confess anything. Damon said I needed to keep it that way. He said people respect winners, not messes. I said I was not a mess. He asked if I still wanted the promotion path. I said yes. He said he could still help me, but he needed me to be on his side. I asked what that meant. He said I needed to show loyalty and stop acting scared. I nodded even though my mouth tasted dry. I told myself he was guiding me. I did not tell myself he was cornering me. After the meeting, I went to the restroom and stared at my face. I practiced a smile that looked normal. I practiced a laugh that sounded light. I told myself, if I performed confidence well enough, it would become truth. On the train home, I typed a long message to Alyssa about how unfair it was. I wrote that men get away with everything and women get judged. Alyssa replied that I should not let Ethan or anyone control my shine. She said I should keep Damon close because powerful allies matter. I felt soothed by her words, like she had put a blanket over my mind. When I got home, Ethan was helping Maisie with homework at the kitchen table. Maisie showed me a worksheet and asked if I liked her handwriting. I said it was good, but I barely looked. Ethan asked if I could read the question to her because his eyes were tired. I did it, but my voice sounded impatient. Ethan asked if I had a rough day. I said my day was rough because he made home feel tense. He asked what he did. I said he acted like a judge and it made me feel watched. He said he was not judging and he was looking for honesty. I said honesty is not the same as confession. He asked what that meant. I said he wanted me to admit to a crime I did not commit. He said he did not say crime. I said he implied it. Maisie asked if we were mad. Ethan told her we were not mad, and adults sometimes talk strongly. I told Maisie she did not need to worry because Daddy gets serious about little things. Ethan's jaw tightened for a second. He did not correct me. He just asked Maisie to wash up for dinner. When Maisie left the room, Ethan asked if I could stop framing him as the problem. I asked why he cared about framing if he said he was calm. He said calm does not mean he accepts lies. I said I was not lying and he was rewriting my words. He said my words changed each time he asked. I said that was because he asked in a hostile way. He said he asked in a normal way. I said nothing about our life was normal lately because of him. I watched Ethan's face. He looked tired. He looked like a person who had already cried alone and did not want to do it again. That should have softened me. Instead, it made me angry. I hated seeing him look like the victim. I hated that my own mind wanted to comfort him, because comfort felt like surrender. I pushed harder. I told him he was lucky I stayed. I told him other men would be grateful to have a wife who worked so hard. I told him he should worry about losing me instead of policing me. Ethan asked if I heard myself. I said yes, and I said I was finally speaking truth. Ethan asked if I wanted to separate. I laughed and asked if he was threatening me. He said he was not threatening, and he was asking what I wanted. I said I wanted him to stop acting like a saint. He asked if I could talk without insults. I said he started it by acting cold. He stood up and went to the small office room. I followed him because I did not want him walking away from my argument. He opened a drawer and took out a roll of tape, then shut the drawer again. I heard the drawer lock with a soft click. I asked what he was locking. He said private things. I asked if he had secrets. He said everyone has boundaries. That word made me panic. Boundaries sounded like doors closing. I told him boundaries are for people who want distance. He said distance can be healthy. I told him he was punishing me. He said he was protecting himself. I said, from what? He looked at me for a long moment and asked if I wanted a real answer. I said yes. But then my phone buzzed. Damon again. He wrote that he needed me to be available this weekend, that we had to smooth things and reset. He wrote that if I stayed loyal, he would still make sure I was taken care of. My cheeks burned. I turned my phone away so Ethan would not see. Ethan noticed anyway. He asked who it was. I said it was work. He asked why work texted at night. I said leaders text whenever they want. Ethan said my job was not a marriage. I said he was jealous. Ethan said jealousy was not the point. He asked if I understood how serious this was becoming. I said he was making it serious because he loved drama. Ethan walked back to the kitchen and started wiping the counter, slow and exact. He asked if we could agree on one thing, which was to keep Maisie out of it. I said Maisie was fine, and he was using her to control me. Ethan stopped wiping and looked at me like he had reached the end of a hallway. Later, when Maisie was asleep, I heard a low hum from the office room, like a shredder running. I stood at the top of the stairs and listened. I told myself he was shredding junk mail. I told myself it was nothing. Then I heard his phone beep in that quiet way it beeps when a file uploads. My skin went cold. I went downstairs and asked what he was doing. Ethan said he was cleaning up paperwork. I asked what paperwork. He said household things. I asked why he was doing it at night. He said nights were quiet. I tried one last time to pull him into a fight, because fights felt like proof he still cared. I told him he was acting like a stranger. I told him he was trying to scare me. I told him he would regret pushing me away. Ethan listened without interrupting. Then he spoke in the calmest voice I had ever heard from him. He said he was done arguing, and he said he would handle it properly. It happened on a normal weekday, which made it worse. I walked into the office tower like I still belonged there. I wore the same sharp blazer. I held my head high. I told myself I could outwalk any rumor. In the lobby, the security guard nodded at me, but his eyes did not stay warm. A few coworkers stood near the coffee kiosk. They went quiet when I passed. I told myself they were jealous. I told myself silence was proof I had power. My phone buzzed with a message from Damon. He said I needed to stay calm today and not create scenes. He said HR was touchy right now. He added that if I stayed loyal, he could still protect my future. I read it twice and felt steady again, like he had given me a shield. Then a stranger stepped into my path. He wore a plain jacket and held a folder. He asked if I was Berenice Latham. I said yes and asked what he wanted. He said he had legal documents for me and he needed to confirm my identity. I laughed once like it was a joke. He did not laugh back. He handed me the papers in front of the lobby cameras and the people with their coffees. I tried to push them away, but he said he could place them at my feet if I refused. I took them because I did not want to look childish. I looked down and saw my name, Ethan's name, and words I did not want to read. I saw that Ethan had filed for divorce. I saw temporary orders attached. My mouth went dry. I walked to a bench and scanned the pages fast. It said there would be a custody schedule starting immediately. It said there would be rules about communication. It said there would be financial safeguards, including limits on new debt and rules about shared accounts. It also said I was not to harass him or embarrass him online, and that public posting about private family matters could have consequences. I felt heat rise in my face. I stood up and marched toward the elevators like anger could erase ink. I typed Ethan's name in my phone and called. He did not answer. I texted that he was being cruel. The message showed delivered, and nothing else. I called my mother. She answered and asked what was wrong. I told her I got served at work. She asked if Ethan was trying to scare me. I said yes, and I said he was punishing me for being ambitious. She said he always wanted control and I should not let him win. I tried Damon next. He did not pick up. I sent a message asking what to do. It stayed on scene with no reply. When I got upstairs, Trina was waiting near my desk with a face like a warning sign. She said HR asked me to come right now. I asked why. She said she did not know and she looked sorry. In the HR room, 2 people sat at a small table. One asked if I understood why I was there. I said no and asked if this was about gossip. They said there was an internal complaint tied to the company event and that evidence had been submitted. They said I should not contact certain staff during the review. They said I would be placed on leave, effective immediately. I asked who submitted evidence. They said they could not discuss names. I asked if Damon was in trouble too. They said the review covered multiple people and I should focus on my own conduct. They slid a summary page across the table. It listed timestamps from the event venue, messages, and the group chat clip. It also referenced late-night contact patterns and power imbalance concerns. My ears rang. I said it was just dancing and work culture. They said policy does not change because someone calls it culture. I walked out carrying a cardboard box with my desk items. People stared like I was a lesson. I wanted to scream that Ethan did this. I wanted to say he was weak and petty, but my voice would not come out clean. Outside, I saw Ethan across the public plaza near the courthouse entrance. He stood with his parents. He looked calm, like a person who already chose the next step. Dana held Maisie's small backpack. Mark had a folder under his arm. Ethan finally answered my call, but he did not come closer. He asked if I received the papers. I said yes, and asked how he could do this to me. He said he did it properly because chaos hurts children. I said I never hurt Maisie. He said Maisie asked why Daddy slept alone, and that was enough. I said we could fix it if he stopped. He said the schedule started today, and Maisie would go with him after school pickup. I said that was not fair. He said the court would decide fairness later, and today was about stability. I watched him turn away and walk into the courthouse doors without looking back at me.